Tonight's headlines: U.S. terror alert raised to second highest level. U.S. troops and East Coast considered targets. Iraq makes concessions. It may be too late. Also tonight, a CBS exclusive inside the U.S. War Command Center. The man in charge in Kuwait says we're ready. And a Friday consumer alert about banks offering overdraft protection. The fine print could hit you right in the wallet.
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather reporting from CBS News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. The U.S. government says the threat of a new al-Qaeda terror attack against Americans is growing. So President Bush today ordered the national terror alert raised from yellow, meaning an elevated risk, to orange, meaning there is a high risk of a terror attack. As the CBS Evening News first reported early this week, there's mounting intelligence that al-Qaeda is planning an attack aimed at causing mass casualties. CBS News correspondent Jim Stewart in Washington has more about this tonight.
Evidence that something big is going on has been mounting for weeks, especially in Europe, where police in Italy and Spain recently broke up suspected al-Qaeda cells, apparently on the verge of launching attacks. In the past 2 days, the White House has been briefed on what one U.S. official called increasingly scary stuff, suggesting even more terrorist cells were about ready to go operational. Altogether, it was more than enough, officials felt, to raise the national terror alert status.
Al-Qaeda may attempt to attack Americans in the United States and or abroad in or around the end of the Hajj, a Muslim religious period ending mid-February 2003.
Last year during Hajj, the annual Muslim pilgrimage to Mecca in Saudi Arabia, officials did not raise the alert level, but this year it comes as the U.S. prepares to go to war in the region against Iraq, and officials believe terrorists may want to capitalize on the twin timing. U.S. officials say the greatest number of specific threats are aimed at U.S. troops in the Persian Gulf, at targets inside Europe, including Great Britain, plus Washington, D.C., and the greater U.S. East Coast. Ashcroft also repeated a warning the FBI voiced last year about the type of most likely targets.
Recent intelligence reports suggest that al-Qaeda leaders have emphasized planning for attacks on apartment buildings, hotels, and other soft or lightly secured targets in the United States.
Going from yellow to orange automatically kicks in several additional layers of security, mostly at points of entry to the United States. Airports where new technology to examine checked baggage has eased some concerns, also beefed up today, and military bases in the U.S. were ordered to a higher alert level this afternoon.
We ask you to remain aware and remain alert. We are not recommending that events be canceled or travel or other plans be changed.
U.S. officials say the latest intelligence does not come from any newly captured al-Qaeda leaders or anyone else in custody. Most of it, they said, originates overseas. Some of it is extremely specific, and all of it, they conclude, suggests that al-Qaeda has moved from simply scouting targets to preparing to hit them. Dan.
Jim Stewart reporting live from Washington. While U.S. officials won't name their sources, understandably, it is nearly certain at least some of the foreign intelligence that triggered this boost in the terror alert level came from Europe. As CBS's Richard Roth in London reports, the more European anti-terror police learn about the threat, the bigger it looks.
A spate of recent arrests has been Europe's equivalent of a color-coded warning. Governments here all say they're on high alert, and with reason.
These extremists are well dug in virtually every country round the world.
4 police raids across Britain just this week took in more evidence and suspects in an alleged poison plot involving the deadly substance ricin. Traces of the toxin were found in a London apartment a month ago when 4 Algerian men were arrested. CBS News has learned evidence in the ricin investigation includes false IDs, which authorities here believe would not have been good enough to get a terrorist past strict security measures. But they might have eased access to soft targets or public places that are not so well protected against a threat which Europeans fear will grow if there's war in Iraq. And authorities say new arrests every week in Europe amount to proof the danger's real and mostly still well hidden. Richard Roth, CBS News, London.
Of course, there's also the threat that terrorists will attempt to use biological, chemical, or other non-conventional weapons in this country. CBS News medical correspondent Elizabeth Caledon reports tonight what the U.S. government is and is not doing about that threat.
Despite a year and a half of preparations and warnings, the nation's readiness to fight bioterrorism gets mixed reviews. On some fronts, we've done well. The Department of Health and Human Services has a new command center, and medical response teams have been beefed up under the current state of alert. Doctors are much better educated about bioterror agents. They know what anthrax looks like now, and they know what to do.
The medical community is much more alert now.
But according to David Segrist, who tracks the nation's bioterror readiness, the devil is in the details. We've done well with a big picture plan, but are having trouble implementing it.
In some cases, Elizabeth, we're actually worse off than we were a year ago.
Specifically regarding funding. $3.5 billion approved for first responders across the country has been promised and not yet delivered. The smallpox program is off to a slow start. There's finally enough vaccine, but many are resisting taking it because of the risks. And there's still no national program in place to compensate people who get sick, a huge oversight, according to Segrist. Also, all the attention paid to smallpox has given other threats short shrift, specifically anthrax, botulinum toxin, and ricin. We now have an FDA-approved vaccine for anthrax, but not enough to protect the entire nation. A newer, safer version is still in clinical trials. And today, Homeland Security Secretary Tom Ridge urged all Americans to educate themselves about bioterror attacks. Extensive information about protecting yourself and your family can be found on our website, cbsnews.com. Dan?
Elizabeth Caledon, thanks. Despite all the security, supposed and otherwise, around President Bush, a serial gatecrasher was able to get right up to him easily at the National Prayer Breakfast in Washington. 57-year-old Richard Weaver walked right up to the president and gave him a letter he says was from God about Iraq. Weaver of Sacramento had no ticket for this event. The Secret Service says he had passed through a metal detector and insists the president was never in danger. 2 years ago, Weaver got past the Secret Service and shook the president's hand just minutes after his inauguration. President Bush spoke by telephone today with the leaders of France and China, seeking support for a new UN Security Council resolution authorizing war with Iraq. They said no. In a related development, France's U.S. ambassador predicted 2/3 of the Security Council will vote not for war, but to extend arms inspections. Russia said it, too, opposes authorizing war and wants inspections to go on. But the chief UN nuclear arms inspector feels time is running out. He warned Iraq today it must make, quote, quick progress to avoid war. CBS's Mark Phillips is in Baghdad.
With all roads seemingly heading toward war here, an increasingly desperate Iraqi regime is making concessions it has previously refused to make and is trying even harder to convince a skeptical world it is not working on forbidden weapons. Exhibit A was the Al-Rafa missile test facility and its brand new and much larger rocket engine test stand. It's here, Colin Powell told the UN this week, that the Iraqis are developing an illegal long-range rocket.
The one on the right is clearly intended for long-range missiles that can fly 1,200 kilometers.
But the Iraqis insist that all work here, including a test firing this week, has been under UN supervision, and that the new missile will be limited to the permitted 90-mile range. The charge that Iraq is still producing prohibited weapons system and what's become the ritual denial here have become the background noise to this countdown to war. There's only one admission the Iraqis can make that would put that countdown on hold, and it's the one they refuse to deliver. While the UN searched a chemical warehouse, the Iraqis still refuse to account for their missing weapons stocks or detail where, when, and how those stocks were destroyed. Instead, the regime is making small concessions, today allowing 3 more scientists to be interviewed privately without the presence of government minders. The UN wants to talk to hundreds. Hans Blix knows he's got to come away from his weekend meetings here with significant new information from the Iraqis, or the inspection process is due. His only hope is that the Iraqis agree. Mark Phillips, CBS News at the Al-Rafa missile test site, Iraq.
If war does come, the Iraqis will face a big force, but much smaller than used in the Gulf War of the 1990s. More than 100,000 U.S. military personnel are already in position to strike now. Many more are on the way. CBS's David Martin has more about those troops and what the Iraqis may or may not be preparing to meet them.
The 101st Airborne Division flies its helicopters into Florida, where they will be put aboard ships for the long ride to the Persian Gulf. Defense Secretary Rumsfeld visits U.S. troops at an air base in Italy that will become a key jumping-off point once the president gives the order to invade Iraq. The American preparations for war are highly visible. The Iraqi preparations, at least the ones the U.S. worries about, are not. Saddam Hussein has 4 Republican Guard divisions stationed around Baghdad. One has moved out to cover the western approaches to the city. A regular Army division has moved south to defend Basra. But the last time these units fought the American Army, they either surrendered or were destroyed. American satellites have watched the Iraqis build fighting positions in rings around Baghdad, but they are mainly earthen berms which might slow a ground force but offer no protection from airstrikes. Pentagon officials say they see nothing in Iraqi troop deployments that concerns them. It's what they don't see that worries them. Secretary of State Powell's briefing at the UN was meant to expose Iraqi deception, but it also exposed American blind spots. Satellite photos showed the Iraqis had cleaned up a chemical weapons bunker just before the UN inspectors arrived. But where did the weapons go? And where are those biological weapons vans? The U.S. has detailed drawings based on eyewitness accounts, but no photos because it doesn't know where they are. The U.S. has yet to spot any of Iraq's 30,000 chemical artillery rounds, but it does know one thing about these weapons of mass destruction. Saddam has already ordered his generals to use them if attacked. David Martin, CBS News, The Pentagon.
Coming up on the CBS Evening News, we take you on a first-ever look inside a top-secret U.S. military command center near Iraq, plus an exclusive CBS interview with the U.S. field commander.
We were out here trying to be the first women to trek across Antarctica when I hurt my shoulder.
For explorer Anne Bancroft, finding pain relief became a priority.
I talked to my doctor at base camp, and he prescribed Celebrex.
Celebrex targets a major source of acute pain. Celebrex helps provide strong pain relief. Ask your doctor about Celebrex. Check with your doctor before resuming activities. People with aspirin-sensitive asthma or allergic reactions due to aspirin or other arthritis medicines, or certain drugs called sulfonamides, should not take Celebrex. In rare cases, serious stomach problems such as bleeding can occur without warning. Tell your doctor if you have kidney or liver problems.
Who'd have thought something this small would turn out to be one of my most important pieces of equipment?
If you're experiencing acute pain, ask your doctor about Celebrex or call 1-888-CELEBREX.
Even if you brush your dentures every day, you're missing something. Brushing can miss odor-causing food particles trapped in crevices. Polydent with more polyvescent power scrubs out what brushing misses. Polydent every day for better odor control.
There's a reason RE/MAX agents average more sales than other real estate agents. They want every transaction to be as perfect as possible.
Can you fly?
RE/MAX. Outstanding agents. Outstanding results.
Looks like heartburn. Showtime!
Wait, look! They don't just have heartburn.
They also have pressure and bloating. That's gas.
Oh, no!
Sorry, guys. They need more than just heartburn relief. They need me! Hey, Maalox Max! When you have it all, treat it all! You bet. Fast heartburn relief plus strong gas relief. That's Maalox Max.
Thanks, Max.
Just doing my job. Maalox Max. When you have it all, treat it all.
The United States and North Korea traded serious warnings today in their dispute over the Korean nuclear program. President Bush said he still believes it can be resolved through diplomacy, but added that, quote, all options are on the table. North Korea said a U.S. military buildup on the Korean peninsula could lead to, again, quote, nuclear disasters. That's plural. As for the U.S. buildup near Iraq, it includes Camp Doha, a new state-of-the-art military command center inside Kuwait. Correspondent Harry Smith of the CBS Early Show got unprecedented access to this base and an exclusive interview with the chosen field commander for war in Iraq, Lieutenant General David McKiernan.
I've lived my entire life in the Army with one phrase, and that is to be trained and ready. The readiness of the Army and the Marines that are here under my command has never been higher.
Gas! 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 You got
ready to fight and ready to face poison gas if necessary.
We are. We train in that type of environment, and they would be dramatically difficult conditions, but it would not stop a coalition military effort.
How do you assess the enemy right now?
We watch the regime, and we watch his military capability every day. Our situational awareness of what Iraqi military forces can do and can't do is pretty darn good right now. But he still has a formidable military, and we watch his every move.
Are they ready to fight? And how much danger or threat do you believe they pose?
I always believe that an adversary poses a threat. But if this fight occurs, our fight is not with the Iraqi military, and they will have the opportunity to stay out of a fight.
Do you know where Saddam is?
No, I can honestly tell you, as we sit here today, I don't know exactly where Saddam is.
Mm-hmm. You have some pretty good guesses.
We have some pretty good guesses.
Multiple locations or a handful?
Yes.
The U.S. military allowed CBS News an exclusive first look inside the command center at Camp Doha in Kuwait, an eye-popping high-tech war room that maintains contact with virtually every unit in the field. It will be tested next week in a classified dress rehearsal for combat called Lucky Warrior. McKiernan says his forces will have a huge technological advantage, but that's not how wars are won.
I've always been a believer of the phrase that says only soldiers and small units win battles. The battles are always won by the tank drivers, the aviation pilots, the fuel handlers, the dismounted infantrymen. Their proficiency, their readiness, and their spirit is amazing, and they will be ready. I have no doubt about their proficiency.
And all they're waiting for is the signal to go. Harry Smith, CBS News, Kuwait.
Today's unemployment report took a lot of experts by surprise. We'll have the numbers and the story behind them when the CBS Evening News continues.
Tough heartburn? Try Extra Strength Mylanta. Nothing's faster or more soothing than Extra Strength Mylanta, the liquidator.
This is good news for denture wearers.
It's Polygrip's new ooze control tip. Unlike round tips, it's shaped to spread a flat ribbon for less ooze.
With the ooze control tip, it's much easier.
Super Polygrip's new tip, less ooze. It's big news.
The new Brita Smart Pitcher not only gives you clear, refreshing water, it's the only pitcher with a digital indicator, so you'll always know when to change the filter, and your water will always be refreshing. How smart is that? The Brita Smart Pitcher. Refreshingly smart.
Excuse me?
God, don't look.
Well, you're wearing a towel.
No, don't look at the scale.
Maybe you should be eating Total cereal.
I eat Special K, thank you.
You know, a study of calcium supplements and reduced calorie diets suggests you could lose more weight and burn more fat by adding more calcium to your diet plan.
So?
Only Total has 100% daily value of calcium. Special K is hardly any.
Say no more. I'll take the Total.
You're still here, aren't you?
Just leaving. Total. A smart way to lose the weight.
Hello? It's Dr. Ross. I have your colon polyp test results. Dan? Dan?
Yes, doctor.
You're fine.
Thanks, Doc.
Help stay that way. Introducing new Caltrate Colon Health.
A clinical trial suggests Caltrate may reduce the risk of recurrent colon polyps, a colon cancer risk factor.
You're gonna be okay.
Don't wait. Take new Caltrate Colon Health.
I'm happily married with 827 kids, so you can imagine the headaches.
Deal with a bad headache fast. Extra strength Tylenol.
On days like this, it's nice to have control over something.
Tylenol. Take comfort in our strength.
Do you know about the purple pill called Nexium?
I know.
I know.
You should know about it too. Talk to your doctor about whether Nexium is right for you.
Find out about the purple pill called Nexium.
Why has our longtime ally, South Korea, joined its longtime enemy, North Korea, in vilifying the United States? 60 Minutes Sunday.
In the investigation of the Columbia tragedy, NASA tonight released a photograph of the shuttle shortly before it broke up. It was taken by a high-resolution U.S. military telescope. You see the left wing there at the bottom, and NASA says it doesn't reveal very much. Wing debris has been recovered from an area around Fort Worth, Texas. NASA does not yet know if they're pieces of the left wing. From all indications, whatever went wrong possibly started with the left wing. The Energy Department said today it expects crude oil to remain above $30 a barrel this year, and gasoline, now averaging retail $1.53 a gallon, to approach record highs this spring. On Wall Street, it's a fourth straight losing week. The Dow lost 65 points today. Unemployment fell in January to 5.7%. That was a surprise, and reason to call in CBS's Anthony Mason. Anthony, this looks like good news.
Well, Dan, unfortunately, it's not as good as it looks. Retail jobs saw the biggest growth last month, but that's a bit misleading. In December, many retailers hired fewer people than in past years, so they had fewer workers to lay off in January. If you take the 2 months together, economists are saying that at best, the job market, Dan, may be stabilizing.
Anthony, how many people have just given up and stopped looking?
It's a surprisingly big number, Dan. About 450,000 people are now in that discouraged worker category. That's a huge jump. Meanwhile, the Iraq situation has practically put a hiring freeze on the whole economy. Employers are afraid to make a move. One executive told me today the economy feels like it's come to a complete standstill, Dan.
Anthony Mason, thanks. In the eastern United States today, a big storm dumped up to a foot of snow in some places. In Michigan, near the border with Indiana, a chain reaction highway accident killed at least one motorist and left others seriously injured. By the time it was over, more than 60 vehicles were involved in the snow-caused pileup. Next here on the CBS Evening News, an investigation consumer alert. If your bank covers overdrafts on your checking account, check out this report. It could save you big bucks.
How did we get the natural fiber of Metamucil powder into convenient new capsules? Let's just say, it wasn't easy. All the benefits of Metamucil, now in capsules. Get regular, stay regular, the convenient way.
In the beginning, I was nervous about other people holding her, or even changing her, and I had to have those pricey diapers. Now, you take her. I know Loves work great. They cost less, even without coupons. And leaks? I don't worry about leaks. They hold like the Hoover Dam, no matter who holds her. Hugs are tight. Okay, my turn. Live and learn, and then get Loves.
We always said when the kids leave home, we'll do things together.
How about golf?
How about antiquing?
Bowling might be good.
Let's start with a nice dinner together.
You're on.
Stouffer's home-style entrees make it easy to enjoy those great meals, like our favorite tender-baked chicken breast and creamy mashed potatoes.
Excellent.
So when we finally decide what to do,
dancing.
There's time to enjoy it.
Stouffer's, nothing comes closer to home.
When you have acid reflux disease, heartburn boils up again and again.
As bad as the heartburn can be, the real threat is what lies beneath.
Over time, that burning acid could wear away the lining of your esophagus, and even if your heartburn symptoms aren't severe, the damage can be.
I didn't know.
Your doctor knows about a purple pill called Nexium. Nexium goes to the source of the problem, actually reducing the amount of acid your body creates.
For many people, one prescription Nexium a day provides complete 24-hour
Day and night heartburn relief.
And importantly, Nexium is proven to heal acid reflux erosions in the esophagus. Other serious stomach conditions may still exist. The most common side effects of Nexium are headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. Talk to your doctor and call this number for more information and a free trial offer for Nexium.
Relieve the heartburn, heal the damage. It's possible with the purple pill called Nexium.
Coming up tonight on News Channel 5 at 6, America is now in a heightened state of alert against possible terrorist attacks. We'll tell you what's being done here.
A lot of banks are up to something that can make them big money at your expense. A CBS investigation fills you in and maybe spares you some financial pain. It's our Friday Consumer Alert reported by Cynthia Bowers.
With only his small retirement income to live on, Joseph Morrison just manages to scrape by each month. Imagine his surprise when he received his bank statement. He was $400 overdrawn.
Even if they would have threatened to cancel my account, probably would have woke me up.
He didn't realize he was in such big trouble, he says, because all along the bank continued to let him use his debit card. What he didn't know was that for every $5 and $10 withdrawal, he was being hit with a $30 overdraft fee.
What you're seeing here is every bit of money you've got coming in being eaten up before it gets there.
Whole thing in a nutshell, I'm in a hole and up to my neck.
Overdraft or bounce protection is nothing new. For years, banks have offered it to their best customers, those who maintain big balances. When they're overdrawn, banks cover the checks essentially by lending the customers money with interest.
But now the plans have been expanded by some banks to cover everyday customers who are charged instead a flat fee, generally $25 to $30, which critics say can often amount to astronomical interest rates.
If you overdraw your account with a typical fee and you pay it back in 2 weeks, you're paying over 500% interest.
With more than 1,000 banks now offering some sort of bounce protection, the fees generate billions of dollars of revenue each year. The banking industry acknowledges what it calls a service is a moneymaker, but also says it's a completely voluntary face saver for customers who make an occasional mistake.
It's a win-win. It's a win for the consumer because their check is honored and they save the embarrassment and they save their overall costs, and the bank actually gets to make a fee out of it. So I would actually characterize that as a win-win.
But just to be sure, federal and state regulators are evaluating bounce protection. As for Joe Morrison, he's decided the only way he could win was to opt out of the game.
No more debit cards for you?
Nope. No, I cut mine up. Plastic surgery.
Even so, his fiscal health is still on the mend and will take quite some time to recover. Cynthia Bowers, CBS News, Springfield Township, Ohio.
And that's part of our world. Sunday morning on Face the Nation with Bob Schieffer, National Security Advisor Condoleezza Rice. I'll be back Monday with the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather reporting from CBS News World Headquarters in New York. Good night.
For news 24 hours a day, go to cbsnews.com. AOL keyword CBS News. A Social Security nightmare. Recently, we reported on the benefit cuts many workers face. Our investigation continues Monday on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
This is CBS.
From your news and information